don't hear anything.
Hold on. Yeah! We're back, baby! Woo! Who is it? Who's coming on? Snoop Dogg. I hope you guys are ready for this show. I am Allums Jr., joined by Mike Pribozie.
Indeed.
This is North American Harness Update. Kick things off a little gangsta style right there. Old school.
Yeah.
And,
right now,
you know, the analogy...
The one winning at Woodbine when I have all. Can he get there? I doubt it. Start to fall down.
I thought it was a pretty good analogy myself. Just based on the fact that we are two of America's most wanted handicappers. So, you know, if the shoe fits.
So what do we got tonight, Rod?
We've got the late pick 4 from London, Western Fair Raceway. We've got the late pick 4 from Woodbine. And we've got the entire card from the Meadowlands tomorrow. Whole card we're giving you analysis for. All of these picks are posted on our website, nahoopicks.com. If you want to check that out. We like the views, and we just like people, kinda. So, just check it out.
Kinda.
Yeah, just kinda.
We've had a pretty good week, I think.
We've had a very good week at Nahoo Picks. After 6 races, I think my Western Fair numbers, I'm up around 63%. My
That's
top 3
good.
hitting the top 3, so we're on a roll lately. We're gonna keep it going. We're keeping it going tonight, so you know. If you haven't checked it out yet, you better get on there.
We gotta get going on this late pick 4 here from
Late
Western.
pick 4 from Western Fair. Starts race 7, which is coming up here in a few minutes. $5,000 guaranteed. First leg is a trot. Now there's a $15,000 lifetime. Pretty wide open race. I thought anyway, and there's a number of ways you could look at this race because there's not a lot of speed, and the speed horses are kind of outside. So, Mike, where'd you end up going here?
I'm inside in this race, using the 1, the 3, and the 4. The 1, there's Magic in Me. This horse didn't draw great last time. Ended up first up and got up to 4th, but then fell back. In a tougher spot, I think. Prior to that was 2nd and 1st. This horse won from the 7-hole 3 back, albeit against lesser. So, and honestly, I don't really trust the 8 in the race much, and the horse is not getting any action whatsoever on the 3-1 morning line. So I'm going to use these inside ones. The 1, the 3, Holly's Justice. This horse actually drops a little bit. Had been facing a notch above these in almost 20,000 and racing okay from inside spots. But this horse has 3 lifetime wins. I like 2 back went 2 minutes 3/5 with strong closing quarters. So I think that horse needs to be used. And then the 4, Style Spotlight. Here's another one that had an outside post last time. Moves in, only has 1 lifetime win, but has shown an affinity to stay close, and I think that matters in here, especially like Rod said, some of the more speedier ones are outside. I think they're not going to make the lead, so I'm going to use these 3 inside ones and hope to get it started. 1, 3, 4.
I'm going 3, 6, 8 here. The 3 Holly's Justice for same reasons you said. Basically, this horse kind of has drawn well last 3 starts now and broke 4th start down, and I think he's quick enough to win this race. There's not much in this race. It's kind of a weak field here, but with the draw, I think he leaves, and he should be up close. And then I go to the 6, Lucrative Sun. Last week, just had no chance. He was too far back. And start before that race, first over, cleared, and he won. That was first start off a layoff. So I think third start off the layoff, this horse should be pretty well positioned and primed for this race. Then the 8, Tax Savings, second tier, has finished second 2 in a row. This horse is a definite use, and he always takes play, and I think he is justified in getting the play that he does. So 3, 6, 8 for me. Second leg is a 7-claimer pacing event. Here we got a field of 8. Mike, where'd you end up going here?
I'm going to go a little quicker now because they're going a little faster than we want. But I'm going to be 1, 2, 5, 8. The 1 raced well last time to win. The 2 was decent, I thought, at the same level at a big price and gets an inside draw. The 5, crushed the field from the 9 hole last time at 1 to 2 against similar. And then the 8, McPhill, got a perfect setup off a layoff, but again, had another crush job. So I think those are the 4, 1, 2, 5, and 8.
I just went 1 and 8 here. With the 1, he's won 2 in a row. He's confident, and I think he's bringing his A game into this race. Plus, he gets the rail, which is a big thing here. And then the 8, who's going to start right behind him in the second tier. He went a big mile off the layoff. He looks fresh, and I think he's good to repeat here in this race tonight. Third leg is a 7-claimer, second division of this 7-claiming pace. Seems pretty favorite tempting in this race. What do you think?
Yeah, it looks chalky. The inside, the 2 will be the likely favorite. Got picked off last time by Jetback Black Cadillac, who is a decent type. And prior to that, won a race at Flamborough by 7 lengths. So this horse comes over here, has speed, will be tough. The 3 should be right behind him. Does come off a 6 scratch, but has been sharp prior to that. And then I'm going to use the 4 Draft Hanover, who's been racing open 5s at Leamington and gets Lasix again. So, who knows? I mean, he's more of a price, I would think. So 2, 3, 4.
I just singled the 2 here. I think he's going to the front, and I think he crushes this field. That was a big heat last week on an off track, and for him to get beat, it was justified in the fractions there. I mean, that was a really big heat. And then to start before that, he won convincingly in the same class. So I don't see him getting beat with the inside post and going right to the front here tonight. Final leg is a filly mare. Now winners of 2250 last 3, or a race this year, which would be one that, maybe you use, but I'm not. So I actually did use one of those. This is wide open, I think. I'm going 5 deep here. 1, 4, 6, 8, 9. The 1 had no chance too far back last time. Draws the rail and should be getting away pretty close. The 4, another one just had no chance from dead last time and closed up to be 5th. I thought raced pretty well and has been pretty consistent throughout the year. The 6 is 0 for the year, but I think this horse is getting better, and if he leaves with this mare, I think she's got a big shot. The 8, second tier start, gets Travis Henry back, and he gets along with this mare pretty well, and she shows some decent miles in the past here, and she's dropping from the preferred 3. Then the 9, she's dropping out of the same race, and she actually beat the 8. The only question mark here is the 9 hole, so I'm 5 deep there.
And I have no real opinion in the race, so I took them all. Cap my ticket, the 1, 3, 4 with the 1, 2, 5, 8. With 2, 3, 4 with all, and that's 64.80, and I did play.
I went 3, 6, 8 with 1, 8 with 2 with 1, 4, 6, 8, 9. I played it for $1, which is $30 for 20 cents at $6. We've got less than a minute to post here.
They're going to the gate right now, so we'll We'll turn it up. We'll listen to Sugar here. See what we get for the first race. Start to pick 4. The 4 is currently 18-1. I'll take that. The 6 that Rod has that I probably should have taken is 2-1 currently. So get ready to go here. Let's get the first at London.
Sun tries for the lead along the inside. There's Magic and Me out nicely up between. Trotter Style Spotlight for good early position. Also getting away well from the back tier spot with Tax Savings. So leading, there's Magic and Me here at 2-1 for Steve Hudon. Right on the bin in second. Long Shot Style Spotlight. It's another 3 lengths back to a slow starting Tax Savings. Tax Savings now closing up the gap. Trotting from 4th is Lucrative Sun. 5th best away is the High Road. Then Holly's Justice. Next to last was AJ Ricochet. Steffi at the back was He's Amigo around. 29 laps. So going right along here. It's a front end mission for there's Magic in Me right there in second. Style Spotlight. Staying in third was Tax Savings out and rolling now quickly. Out of 4th, Lucrative Sun. Rushing and brushing here in front of the grandstand. Lucrative Sun has come on to be second now with a lap to go. There's Magic and Me and Lucrative Sun hook up. Inside to be third is Style Spotlight. Switching outside at 4th for Tax Savings. The High Road staying in there. Holly's Justice getting underway for Horner in 6th. 7th is AJ Ricochet just trying to catch the field. He's a miggle around. A minute 2/5 at the half. It's a 2-length lead now here for the pace setter. There's Magic and Me. Style Spotlight continues to hold down second. Lucrative Sun in between Trotters third. 3 wide on the outside was Tax Savings. Waiting on Holly Justice. She's 5th but going wide into the final turn. 1:30-2 for 3/4. There's Magic and Me has got every call thus far. Outside in second. Tax Savings. Holly Justice swooping up. Locked in behind the wall. Style Spotlight. Lucrative Sun went to a break. Down the stretch they come. There's Magic and Me. Tax Savings still coming. Here's Holly Justice. Tax Savings. Holly Justice. Tax Savings for the win at 7-2. Holly Justice was second. AJ Ricochet from way back to be third. 2-2.
There we go. 7-2 to start it.
Well, that was criminal what he did with the 4. He should have got off the rail when he had the chance, but didn't. Was clearly the best in the race, but didn't get out and let the 1 fall back on him. He had just enough chance to get out and didn't move, and then had nowhere.
Yeah, sometimes that gets a little tight down there, and
I don't know. I mean, he had a chance to go. He didn't.
That's an easier move to make with a pacer than it is a trotter. Pacers, you can kind of fling them around and they don't care. Trotters, you jerk them around just a little bit and they'll run.
I don't know. I can't take a horse like the 8 off those. I didn't like the way the horse looked last week. I mean, he was a little lucky tonight, I thought, but he got there.
So we're going to move on from that since we got the pick 4 in about, 6 minutes.
Oh, we had to. They were going to the gate.
We crushed that thing. So we're going to move on to the late pick 4 from Woodbine tonight. And this doesn't have a guarantee attached to it, but they usually exceed 40,000 in this pool pretty much on a nightly basis. You got full fields over there at Woodbine, and this thing looks like it could pay pretty decent if you catch the right horses. And there's a couple races that I think are wide open. What do you think? What do you think in this first leg? It's a non-winner, it's a 6,000 trot. I think this race is wide open, Mike.
I agree. I think all the races are pretty decent, actually. I think I'm 4 deep in every race. So, and that's kind of a goofy way to play, but that's just who I liked, and I feel like that there's different scenarios that could play out in a lot of these races. So I don't really mind it necessarily if I feel it's that way, and it definitely is going to pay something. So, and all our picks are on Yahoo Picks. You can check out our late pick 4. I think both of us have one listed. So in the first race, the horse I like the most, I think, is the 2 St. James Gate, who, if you look at him, he's very sneaky with his form. Had no chance 3 back from the 10 hole. Was stuck inside whenever 2 back, and he flew late to get 4th, 27-4, and really lacked room in that race. And then last time ended up leaving early, and again really wasn't in the right spot. Took a shuffle, lost to 2 horses that would beat this field here. So I just feel like he's sneaky. Christopher knows him. I like that they left with him last time, and I would expect that they're going to leave again with him. So he's either going to be on the front or in the pocket type of thing. He sometimes can, throw in a break here and there. I mean, that is an issue with him, but he's made $57,000 this year, and he's definitely capable of beating these. I'm going to use the 4 also, Onerutek Perfetto, who his last 2 are not that great, but again, he's coming back down the class ladder. He raced in that same race that the 2 raced in last time, and raced okay, but was still beaten 8 lengths. Again, this horse is capable. Last week didn't look great, but I don't know. He's a bit off and on. He certainly always takes money at this level. I think that in this field, with the wide openness of it, he's one of the ones you have to use, especially from this post. The 5 Burning Money is an old class horse. He's made $645,000. He moves inside, and he's been sort of knocking on the door at lower levels. He needs to trip out. I mean, there's no doubt. He was 30-1 last time against that same race where the 4 was 2-1. But I like his class, and I like the fact that he tries. He's a trier. He's there every time. If he gets a setup, he can win, and he's going to be a price. And then the 7 April Rose, this is Hensley. This horse was racing at the top level earlier this year and racing very well. Her game is speed. She's got to be up front early. She was stuck in a race last time. She had really no chance. So I like the drop here. I imagine he's going to go straight to the front in the race. He's definitely going to beat the 8 out. When she's good, she's up early and pretty much just, pulls away. So impossible to leave off. 2, 4, 5, 7 to start the late pick 4.
We're not too far different on this leg. I went 6 deep actually. I thought the race was a bit more wide open. Starting with the 1 at Adversity, draws the rail. I like that. We just saw Jason Ryan win with 1 in the 5th race. I think
this horse has burned so much money, though. I mean,
yeah, she's not going to take as much play. She won't take as much play in this race because it's so wide open. I think you're going to see a lot of horses around 7, 8 to 1.
Well, they got to bet somebody.
They're going to bet somebody, and I think they're going to bet the 4. The 4 and the 7 are going to get bet here. Those seem like the 2 logical horses that are going to take money. But with the 1, she draws the rail. She doesn't leave much, but I think she's in a spot where she can get out of there enough because there's not a lot of gate speed in here. There's some, but she can sit early and make a move late and possibly get up to win this race. The 2 St. James Gate, same reasons as you. I mean, we use this horse almost every single week.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he doesn't win that often, but, he's always a nice price. And he makes the exotics pay, and I'm going to keep using this horse. I like that this horse, he gives an effort every time. And you just never know when he's going to pop. And then the 4, I think he's probably going to be the favorite here. Raced okay last week, and same story as the 2, just ran into 2 horses that were way better. This horse took a lot of money last week and just didn't fire. So something might have been off last week. I think maybe they got that fixed. And Dean Nixon, that's a high percentage barn there. So I'm going to throw that one on as well. Burning Money, the 5. Using this one, had no chance last week from way, way back. Osceola and Drury, they've actually been heating up here the last couple weeks at Woodbine. even with the, this horse is 3 for 34 on the year. I'm not a big advocate of that, but this horse is in the money quite a bit. And last week, this thing trotted a back half in 55-3, so I think his form is in perfect condition right now. I think he's going to be right there at the wire as well. Then I'll skip over to the 7 April Rose, second start off the qualifier. We've seen some of these Hensley horses pop second start off the qualifier, and some of them be no good like the one earlier. So really it's hit or miss with his horses, and if you're like me last week and you throw them off at even money, they win, and if you use them, they're no good. So 50-50 with them. And then I use the 8 Q Hall. 2 starts back, he was in non-winners at 8,000, one class above this. Sat on the inside. The horse in front of him was coming back to him, and he was having a bit of trouble keeping up at the 3/4 pole, but then he got right on that horse's helmet, and then the horse came back to him. So I'll excuse that. He's made 90,000 this year, and when he's in against these types, he's always right there. So I don't see a reason not to use him in this field. So 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8 for me in the first leg. Second leg is a non-winners of 4 filly mare, non-winners of 4, 50 life on the pace. To me, another wide open race. I'm 5 deep here. I'm going to start with the 1. First start for Osceola and Drury off the claim. I think this is a bit of a class hike, but this filly shows some back class as well. She's been in 53 for her previous barn, and she goes to a good barn. So I see her making a drastic improvement tonight. And she raced first over, just a brutal mile last time. And her form has been pretty good, and the track has been off up there. So I kind of excuse a couple of miles there, but with the barn change, I think that's a big angle for me. The 2 American Cheer, she got knocked out of the race pretty much. There was a breaker in front of her going to the half last week, and she come flying, and that really was her excuse. But she did get passed by a horse who I'm also using. But, her talent, she's very talented, this filly, and I expect her to show up again. The 3, Traffic Jam, 1, 2 in a row, looking to go 3 straight. And she won at 22-1 last week, and I actually used her. She's one that just sits back and bides her time, and then when she makes a move, she makes a big move. She's got that one giant kick, and it could be in the third quarter, it could be in the final quarter. It just depends where she's at. But when she uses that move, she can pass some horses very quickly. So she's always pretty dangerous. Go down to the 7, Kloof Street. This is the horse that went by and won last week, who I didn't have, but Mike had. This is another one. She just barely got impeded last time, but she was on the outside. She made that big move in the third quarter, and she come honking on the end, and she nipped him. So I think she's going to be confident coming into this race, so I'm going to go ahead and use her again. And then the 8 Party Beach. Good race last time, I thought. She was probably a bit over bet in that race. But I don't mind using this horse because she's very versatile. She can duck, she can leave. So I think James McDonald's going to play the gate and see what happens when the wings fold, and that should tell you what this horse is going to do. And then, she got a mark of 52 and change over at Woodbine earlier, 2 starts back. So if she goes back to that, I think that same effort wins this race. So for me, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8.
I'm 4 deep. And starting with the 1, who Osceola off the claim is extremely dangerous, and that's a huge angle. He's probably the best barn off the claim besides Moreau up there. And personally, I feel these fillies and mares now as a force just aren't that good. So this horse was racing open 15s, and the horse that beat this horse, who tortured this horse, just came back to win race 6. Now this horse steps in here, off decent races. The last 2 were very good. Third start back. I really feel like this horse has a huge chance in this race and cannot be ignored whatsoever. I think you have to use this one. The 2, American Cheer, like Rod said, no chance last time. Impeded, got stuck behind that, and just wasn't as fortunate, but still flew home 27-4. So I'd like that. And prior to that, broke, but had won 2 in a row before that. So the horse has a little bit of consistency in a race that lacks some. I'm not a fan of the 3 at all. I just feel like that horse inherited that race, the win on November 3rd. You remember that night?
Yep.
That was the last race that night when this horse, at 22-1, found a way to win a goofy race. So I'm not using that one, but I am going to use the 4, Gotta Love My Shadow, who I feel like has been facing better horses. That number's a 4 with Dancing Shadows. That's a better race than these horses have been facing. Went to the lead last time from Warzaeum, now gets Lasix. He doesn't do that very often. When he does do it, the horses seem to do well. So this horse cannot be ignored, needs to be used. And then I'm going to use the 7, Kloof Street, who was vicious last week out of nowhere. That was a big race. Was impeded after coming first up and just blew everything away and held everything off at 16-1. Henry again. It's hard if you watch that replay not to use that horse. As far as the 8, 9, and 10, I am completely uninterested off of very dismal efforts in their last couple, especially the 9, who just was terrible last week. I'm not interested in that one at all. 1, 2, 4, 7 in there.
Third leg is a filly mare known as a 10,000 last 5, optional 25 claimer on the pace. Another full field with 10 here. This one I didn't think was as wide open, but there's still quite a few horses that can win here. I cut down a bit. Mike, you said earlier you were 4 deep in all the legs. Where'd you go?
4 deep, using the inside 2, 1 Ruby Prescott, who drops a little in here, had been facing better. 1 preferred 2 at Flamborough, 2 back. Last time, you loved this horse last time.
I did.
You think she was a bit flat?
Yeah, she was flat last week. She was very flat last week.
Yeah.
But there was a tailwind.
A little bit.
There was a tailwind on the stretch, so that's an inflated quarter.
And I feel like she's going to be bet. And I'm just not – the drop could help, and maybe it was just not her night, something like that. But she wasn't bet, and she was flat as a pancake. So I'm using defensively. I don't trust. The 2, she's lights out, had terrible post 9 last time. And still raced okay, only beaten 3.5. Came home 27-2. Prior to that, ran the Lady Lays, Wanda Bayamas. With all of those would beat these. I like the inside post. This horse is a closer. She needs to trip out, but she's going to be a decent price in the race. I'm going to use the 7. She's a Real Deal, who I think has been very good the last 2 times. 1-2 back from the 8 hole. On the night they were closing, but she flew out of nowhere to win. So and then last week, really didn't get a great setup and still flew to be 3rd. So against these same types, I think you have to respect this horse because she's in good form, and I just like her better than a lot of these. And then the 10, Mia Lily Mark, who I think from the 10 hole has quite a bit of speed. I feel like that puts her in a good spot in here because there's a lot of plotters in this race that aren't going to really necessarily fight her for the front. You got the 4 that's definitely going, and then there's going to be a fight for the pocket there, probably between the 1 and maybe the 10. So she's fast enough to get out early. If she does get out early, I feel like she could have a chance late, depending on what happens with, Much Ado, who I do not trust at all whatsoever in this race. She should have rolled over that field last week and barely hung on to win. So 1, 2, 7, 10.
For me, I go 3 deep here. The 1, Ruby's Prescott, same reasons as you. I'm using defensively because I had her keyed last week, and she just did not fire. With the drop tonight, she's better than these horses, and it's tough for me to try to go and go against her after I singled her last week in a class above this. So I think she's off form a bit right now. But I'm still using just because she is better than these horses. She's made over $200,000 the last 2 years. So there's no way I'm not using her. The 4, Much Ado, third start off the layoff. I agree with you. She should have won that race easy last week and just hung on. I see maybe a trend that she's not quite as good as she can be. But she's also one that when she gets good, she's going to be good. And I think winning last week, hanging on for that win, she's going to have a little more confidence coming into this race. She's going to take some money, but
I feel like she was with the track last time and just barely won an inch in a race that, she got it all her own way to 27, 57, and 3. So I do not trust her. I mean, and I feel like she's going to be bad. Can she win? Absolutely. But I don't want her in there.
Yeah, I don't trust her to win, and I don't trust her to get beat either. Okay. So that's why I'm using. And then I'm also using the 8, Bernadette. Another dropper here. She's got early speed. Did not race well last time. That was off 3 weeks. High percentage barn. She's made over $130,000 this year. So, and she gets McNair back in the bike, where her last 2 times he drove her, she was second and third. Albeit they were against a bit cheaper, but with her, when she goes, she gets her own way. She can win, and she can win pretty easily. And I think she's quick enough to beat this field. So I'm 1-4-8 here. Final
They're
leg.
Getting ready to go at London, so I don't know if you want to go there real quick.
Yeah, we'll cut over to London.
And we'll finish it up.
We'll cut over to London.
Currently, the 1 is 3-2. Howdy Partner, which surprises me, considering the horse was 18-1 last time against Lesser. The 2, Sandfire, currently 19-1. The 5, who I think you like in the race, Confident Fella, is 2-1.
No, I'm 1-8 here. I'm 1-8.
Oh, you're 1-8? Okay, well the 8's 5-2 also. So the 2 just went from 18 to 3. So I don't know. Maybe there wasn't a whole lot of money there. Maybe the money just hit.
Simulcast money just came in.
Yeah, must have. The 4 horses that are you'd think would be better, but I'm surprised that the 8's not the favorite in the race. I realize he kind of got it. They fell down in front of him last time, but that was a good race. And they weren't beating him.
I'm a fan of the 1 here. I really like the 1 actually.
Really? Against these other ones?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna see what these exactas are paying with the 8.
The 8 probably is. I mean, the 8's the horse to beat in my opinion, but
they're not paying great. I'd probably sit the race just because I'm out of the pick 4. I know Rod's still going. Who do you have? 5 or no? 1-8.
1-8 here.
1-8 for Rod to pick 4. I was 1-2-5-8, but I'm out. So they're going to the gate.
I think
in the pick 4.
You got 9-5 on the 8 horse. Even money on the 5. That's my third choice here. So we'll see. Here we go.
Starting gate is moving up speed. Here they come. And there they go. Sandfire is firing out tonight alongside to be second Confident Fella. Up in between. First are down. That's got them 3 wide heading to the opening 8. Sandfire along the inside is coming through here at 21-1. On for second. There goes McPhill. McPhill at 8-5 is right out and around. Looping for the lead here. McPhill on top. Sandfire is now in for the 2-hole ride at big odds. First start down is third. Away in the fourth was Confident Fella. Looking at it from fifth is Howdy Partner. Next to last was Ozzy Does It. Trailing the field. Major 28-4 on the lead. That is McPhill. McPhill looking comfortable. He tugs hard on House. Out and rolling at a 4th. On for third. It's the first up challenger, Confident Fella, going on for Shep. Down in front of us, they travel McPhill leading. Confident Fella now second. Sandfire with them in third. Fourth and in for first start down. Fifth and wide travels Howdy Fella. The final two not keeping up here. Major trying to go around. Aussie does it. 59-1 at the half. McPhill looking comfortable. Outside traveling second. Confident Fella. Sandfire continues in the top three. It's Howdy Fella second over fourth. Fifth and in. First start down, sixth on the outside is Major Up towards three quarters, McPhill still comfortable on his lead. Confident Fella right on the wheel in second. Sandfire sticking around third, 128-4 at three quarters. McPhill by a length and a house. Second best, Confident Fella. On for third is a Howdy partner. Sandfire begins to stall in fourth. Down the stretch they come in McPhill. McPhill turns it on. Confident Fella, he's second. He's beat tonight. McPhill, house on for Moffat. Confident Fella was second. Howdy partner third. Sandfire looked to hold fourth. 158-2.
And that was easy there for the 8.
I'll take that.
Yep, that was easy there.
So we've got the last leg of the pick 4. Get that done real quick because they're getting ready to go.
And they're going on the track for race 7, so we're getting there. So race 10 is numbers of 6,000 last 5. Another tough race, like you said. I'm 4 deep again. Who'd you like in here?
I just went too deep. I cut this leg down a little bit. I saw a lot of potential horses in here, but the ones that I liked aren't really the winning type. The one, for instance, 2 for 28 this year, won a bunch of races last year, but, not really the same horse this year. So I went 5-8. The 5 columnist gets a driver change back to Trevor Henry. I like that. I think this field is softer than what she's been facing recently. Dancing Shadows K, PL Kalua, those horses are better than these. Jewel on the Beach. I mean, this one's facing some tough competition recently, and she's got a marker 52 in a piece at Mohawk this year, so I think with the drop in class here, she's a major threat at a good price. Then the 8 Art Angel Baby, another one dropping in class. It's Tony Montini and Phil Houdon. Last week was just way too far out of it. Had no chance. She's 1 for 28 on the year, but she's always right there, and she makes money. What happened there? I don't know. Okay. Art Angel Baby. Okay. She.
Are you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, good.
So Art Angel Baby, she's dropping back to a level where she finished second, 2 starts back. I think she kind of stands over this field, just a hair. But I'm going with the 2 droppers here, 5 and 8, for those reasons. For the most part, they're both dropping.
Okay, I'm 4 deep. I'm going to use the 1, Whiskey's Paradise, who, flew late last time against the track, to pick off Much Ado, who we talked about earlier. The 8 Art Angel Baby, who's very obvious, off a drop, and I thought the last 2 races were decent, but she just doesn't like to win, and she's an issue. So, the 2 is claimed, and, they're stepping up for Cullen, and I like when he claims them too. I think that, he always has a chance to win. So, and then I'm also going to throw the 10 in, as a long shot. So that'll cap my ticket. It's 2, 4, 5, 7 with 1, 2, 4, 7 with 1, 2, 7, 10 with 1, 2, 8, 10. It's 51-20. I'm punching it right now.
My ticket is 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8 with 1, 2, 3, 7, 8 with 148 with 5/8. It's $36 for 20 cents. I already punched it.
So we're about less than a minute to race 7. If you played my early pick 4 on Yahoo Picks, you're still alive to the 2 and the 7 here. And then I did use a couple more for the late pick 4 just because I had spread out. I got picked off in race 2. I had a 71-1 lose in the last 2 steps. In the race I had all. Not that I'm upset or anything. But that would have made this ticket ridiculous. Anyway, St. James Gate is 7-2. And, currently the 7, April Rose, is 3-1, which I think is decent value on a horse that if she gets her way, she's going to eat. I don't know what you think about that, but
yeah, that's kind of where I stood with her as well. If she gets a good setup, I think she's going to be dangerous. And at 3-1, I mean those are good odds. I mean decent odds. They're not good odds, but they're decent odds. But again, this is a wide open race, and I wouldn't take a short price in this race. I would try to go against the short prices and look for something a little longer.
The problem is you have 4 horses that are right around 3-1. The 2, the 4, the 5, and the 7 are all within half a pick. And then after that, everything is 11-1 or better. So, in the 4 horses that I have them, I know you spread out a little more. Are those 4 horses because I feel like they're the most likely winners out of a race that is difficult. You're right about the 1. That horse is 15. And I've had this horse before. I just don't like how he's been lately. And I really have. I usually have a good feel for when he's good, and he's just not right now. He's not passing horses. He's burning a ton of cash. I don't really trust anything. Like the 4 at 5-2, I think is terrible. I'd rather have the 2 and the 7 right now. So he could win, and I used him in the late, but more as a horse that I thought, I don't want to lose to and be knocked out early. But I'm not crazy about that horse, especially at 5-2.
Yeah, the 5-2 is not ideal on that horse. 5-2 in this race on any horse is not ideal, honestly.
All right, let's get ready. Late pick 4, Woodbine. We love it.
Still live at London, Western Fair. Single, though, in this 3rd leg. What we got? Let's go with this race.
They're going.
St. James Gate, now speed outside from Q Hall and from April Rose. Perfect levers up into the next 2. Shooting through at the inside, gaining 6 diversity, 7 down the center, the favorite over there, Tech Perfetto. Then Burden Month 3 wide, going to the turn, Brandon Ross up, pumped over second from last, and it's a Tampa trailer. Right lane to the front went Q Hall. It's April Rose, tag along in the deuce. Back there from it 3rd, rides along St. James Gate with Class Me Nice 4th, Perfect Lever 5th, and the 6th one back is Diversity, the quarters 26-3. O'Neill Tech Perfetto is back there racing 7th. Burning Money behind that one from an 8th position. Then Brandon's Last Son, and trailing is Satanta. Single file go to trotters across the backstretch. Q Hall leads the way. Q Hall up front by 2 open lengths. As second is April Rose. Then St. James Gate from 3rd. Class Me Nice is put on hold from back and forth. A gap of 3 to Perfect Lever, 5th inside. Rough gated there. And MacArthur lost. Perfect Lever made a break in a safety lane bound. Taking over the 5th spot, Adversity now, as the field hits the half through 56-2. Q Hall marching them into the final turn for Houdon, leading the way by a length and a half. April Rose enjoys the 2-hole trip. Then it's back 3rd inside to St. James Gate. 4th to the rail is Class Me Nice. Outside 5th, Adversity. On to 3/4 they go, and Q Hall trying to last for a quarter mile as he's been the boss to 3/4 in 1:26. April Rose from the pocket spot emerges now with late trot. St. James Gate is onto the scene from in 3rd now, and cooking up a storm here on the far outside comes St. James Gate with big late speed from Christopher, who just flips the switch, and St. James Gate opens up here in the blink of an eye. St. James Gate is straight and strong and powering away to a deep stretch lead. The lead 4 now 5. St. James Gate on cruise control, absolutely jaws. O'Neill Tech Perfetto was up for second, a 3-way battle for show for 155.
That was a huge race from that horse. I mean, he just murdered. And he looked, if, this is one thing me and Rod talked about before the races. if you pay attention, this horse was very sneaky and had races to go back to that would crush these like he did. He just needed to have a setup. He had been terribly spotted the last few weeks, and that's when you get 7-2 on a horse like this, and they just crush, because that tonight there wasn't a straw to pack. I mean, the 8 was always going to quit on the lead. He's been quitting for weeks on the lead, and all you had to do was wait, boom, gone.
Yeah, they need to get the 8 under control a little bit. I think if he gets under control where he can maybe sit in a hole.
Well, he was racing in the open races earlier in the year. I mean, that's how good he was, but he's no good right now.
Yeah, he's too wound up early, and I think he's just choking himself down. Honestly, that I've seen horses like that. I've trained horses like that. They just get too wound up, and they just do it on their own. They get so hyped to race, and that to me, that's what that horse is doing, and he needs to tone it down just a touch, and he'll get back into form.
So early pick 4 was given out on Yahoo Picks. It's coming back 111. Not great, but not horrible. We made a couple bucks there, and we start the late pick 4 with a 7-2 shot. Who, it's a good start. I'm happy with it, and that was the top pick on Yahoo Picks if you read my stuff. So
I am still alive. Mike is still alive. We still got a few minutes till London goes here. We got about 3.5 minutes or so.
So where do you want to go? Do you want to go Meadowlands for a little bit, just to start there, or what do you think?
Yeah, we'll start on the Meadowlands card here real quick. We'll get through a race or two and see what we got going.
So we got Meadowlands for tomorrow. They have 13 tomorrow night. A lot of these races are eliminations for stakes down the line, and there's some TVG points races also. It's not a bad card. I think it's difficult again. Last Saturday was difficult. They have that top 10 or pick 10 survivor wager that's starting to handle some more money. They got a couple pick 4s. The pick 5 starts in race 2. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can go. The handle's high. There's big fields. It's worth playing. It's worth looking at. So.
Last week, if you checked out NahooPicks.com, you would have gotten 63% of my plays in the top 3. My top 3 plays, I hit 63%. And we caught a $150 exacta, $1,000 trifecta, the late pick 4. We were pretty hot at the Meadowlands last week, so we're looking to continue that tomorrow. Starting with the first race, first leg of the Survivor Pick 10. It's a non-winners of 5,000 trot. Very iffy field, I guess you could call it. With these lower class races, you get a lot of horses that haven't been performing, and then you get some that have been performing. But I think there's a few ways you could go here. What do you see in this race?
It looks outside to me a little bit, just because the 9 PL Ichabod drops significantly out of those non-winners of 10,000 races at Yonkers, where really had no chance. Get back to the big track here. I like the connections. He's been facing horses like Watkins. That horse is an open type, trotter. Again, comes back to the big track, gets Brett Miller. I feel like, the horse is going to get a patient drive, but he's just better than these. I mean, he's supposed to win this race. The 10, Master of Law, this horse obviously has his issues. Has only 5 races, didn't race at all last year, but, when he's good, he's good. He won 2 back at Plain Ridge, and then he broke last time, all at giant, low prices. So, I don't know. I mean, he's a bit all or nothing, and definitely tough to trust. The 7, Clifton Beach, this is a horse that raced, I thought, very well at a lower level last week from the far outside, but ran into a horse named Massive Lightning, who was very well meant and bet super hard, and that kind of ripped his doors off late. But, this horse is consistent. I'm not sure how classy he is necessarily as opposed to some of these other ones, but at least you know you're going to get a good effort there. And then I would maybe mess around a little with the one Gold Medal Swan going back to the Meadowlands and raced well there earlier this year. Wasn't very good at Woodbine this time, around. So, I think the horse that faced some tough ones up there, like, Chestnut Schofield, Sass is a nice horse. Yo-Yo Moss is another nice horse. So those are all decent ones this horse been facing. This is a lower spot for this one. So I would probably focus on those four, although maybe not really betting the race too hard.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is kind of a race you just you try to get through, especially if you're playing the Survivor Pick 10. You kind of have to go deep in this race, and I'm going Gold Medal Swan on top. This is my top choice. Like you said, coming in from Canada, he's facing some pretty good horses up there. I like the draw. This is a class drop for this horse, and it's a weak field, to be honest. And with this draw, I think he's going to get away close, and he should. If he's in form, I think he's going to like the longer stretch. So if he's in the right form with the ship down, I think he beats this field. My second choice is the 10 Master of Law. Don't like the draw, but I think he's going to leave. And like you said, he's a hit or miss type. If he's on his game, he's going to be right there at the wire. But I do believe Gold Medal Swan is just a touch better than him right now. And Plain Ridge has been very, very fast. So I kind of take those miles a bit lightly. The 3 Quick Deal, I think he's fast enough. He's just got to stay flat. Made a break last time. He's got to stay off the list. So I think he's probably going to tuck, and he's probably going to sit throughout the mile. And if he finds room late, I think he can probably beat these horses. But he's got to find the room, and that's going to be tough in this race because I think there's a lot of them that are very equal here. So I'm going to probably just use 110 on top there and hope for the best, but we'll see on that one. I think
the board's been talking to there a little bit. I mean, that's something we noticed last week, especially.
Yeah.
Horses that are out of line bet a little bit. Those are the horses that have been racing. So getting ready to go at London.
We'll go to London.
Single to the 2.
Single to the 2.
4 to 5. Good luck.
Here they come. The rock from the front will be Overthinking It. Map 2 will do. On the inside to be third. Plain Easy. From the back to your spot to be fourth. Better be said. Mac 2 will do. Came through for Shepherd at 1 to 5. He will front them. Overthinking It. Pockets up for Colin Kelly. Here at 9 to 2. All alone third. Plain Easy fourth best. Better be said. Got to be 7 off the lead. That came ahead of Rat Hanover. Slots of Fun is traveling in 6, 7. Village St. Casimir Megastar. Can see them all. Opening quarter mile was just 28 and 4. Comfortable on the front end mission tonight. Mac 2 will do by a length of 3/4. Still second. Overthinking It. Still third. Plain Easy. Better be said. He's thinking about it. 3/8 completion leader. Unchallenged. Mac 2 will do. Overthinking It. Plain Easy. All staying in here. Just over a lap to go here for Mac 2 will do. Can the favorite see it through? 59 and 1, so 30 and 2 through that second quarter. Overthinking It. He's still second. Plain Easy third. There goes. Better be said. Underway for Stewart. He's fourth and getting reminders to go on. Draft Hanover gapping in fifth. Sixth is Slots of Fun off the back end. It's going to be Village Saint and still last. Casimir Megastar. Mac 2 will do. Getting some urging now. Overthinking It has been tripping out in second. Taking third is Better Be Said. Plain Easy fourth. The others are way back. 28 and 1, so 28-9. Flat through the third. Mac 2 will do is still there. Overthinking It still second. Better Be Said continues to gain here for Stewart. Better Be Said. He's in with a shot here at 15 to 1. Just over 8 left to go. And it's Mac 2 will do. Here's Better Be Said. Overthinking It now switching wide. to the wire they come. Better Be Said, Mac 2 will do. Overthinking it. It's going to be Better Be Said and a Nick Stewart upset. Mac 2 will do was second best on this night. Overthinking it third. Plain Easy fourth. 159 flat better.
Well, what did we miss there?
Good question. I don't know how that horse won.
He was good, though. Well, I mean, he'd been racing at the same level against better, that's for sure. I mean,
Hasn't beat these things all year.
no, he hasn't.
Not my horse. Not the horse that I would ever bet. Ever.
Hard to have. Although that race last two back came home 29. That's not bad. So you're right though. He's hard to have. He's hard to have. So what do you want to do? You want to take a break now? You got. Let's see what we have to Woodbine. We have. They're just coming onto the track. So I'd say about 5 minutes to Woodbine. So we'll be back for Woodbine, race 8, and then we'll continue with our Meadowlands as we go.
Yeah, give us, we'll say roughly 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes maybe, till post time. We'll come back and we'll do the 8th race at Woodbine. We are back. North American Harness Update. I am Rod Allums Jr., joined by Mike Pribozie. You still there, Mike? All right. We got less than a minute here at Woodbine for race 8. Currently 5-2 is the 2 American Cheer. The 1 Sadwana Bay 7-2. Traffic jammed 4-1. Pretty much how we kind of expected it to play out on the betting board. I mean, Sadwana Bay is a bit overbet, I think.
I don't think. I think she fits very well, and I'm actually glad she's taking money. I think that's a positive sign, especially at this place off the claim. If the horse was dead, I would not like it at all. I do like the action. So the fact that the 7's dead on the board is unbelievable after that last line.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of an overlooked line. I thought it would be an overlooked line just because a lot of people don't see that type of line very often, so it's tough for a lot of people to judge that.
And it was the last race last week, too, and that makes a difference, I think. I mean, we'll see. I don't know. I do feel like 13-1's value there. 5-2 on the 2 is... I mean, I do think the 2's has a chance, but not 5-2. I'd much rather have the 1 or the 4. But they're getting ready to go, so let's go to Woodbine race 8.
Go.
Well, pacing, pushing out of there has got to love my shadow. Outside is Party Beach coming through between his Osprey Blue Chip. Into the round 4th away, Sadwana Bay. How another pick comes the spring for position off the gate. Then it's back to American Cheer and Traffic Jam, followed by Village Jamie, final 2 Blue Street, and Fading Shadow driving into the turn, and they've got Party Beach to catch. As she slices up the speed for McDonald, her lead is just over a length, and she by the quarter in 26 and 4/5 seconds. Osprey Blue Chip rides a pocket position, 2.5 lengths back to Gotta Love My Shadow third. Here is Sadwana Bay, Antoine Allums Jr. to summon up second quarter speed with a rush. Here is Sadwana Bay out of the 4 holding the third down second. She's coming down to challenge and overtake Party Beach on the way to the midway point. Sadwana Bay sprinting up to grab the lead now. Back in the second goes Party Beach. Off on the third is Osprey Blue Chip. Then 4th inside, we gotta love my shadow. Beats went popped up first at 5th now. Passes 56-1. 6 to catch covered comes American Cheer. Tracked by Traffic Jam. Then Village Jamie, a shooting through Fading Shadow. And last is Blue Street. Pocket pop by Party Beach now. Coming right after Sadwana Bay. And they throw down going into this far turn. Sadwana Bay at the rail. Party Beach on the outside into second. Breaking one cover from third. B-string. Gap at the rail from the 4th. Osprey Blue Chip. Jameson pops plugs in for 3/4 in 1:25-1. Sadwana Bay coming to the stretch. Joy calls on her for some finals. 8th of a mile toughness as Party Beach is coming to her on the outside again. Party Beach up after Sadwana Bay. Sadwana Bay finds just a bit more though. Sadwana Bay at the inside. Party Beach on the outside. After Sadwana Bay wins. Sadwana Bay over Party Beach coming to the American Cheer. And it's supposed to happen.
There we go. We had the right angle on that one.
Well, they flashed the stats on Cielo off the claim. 11 for 25, off the claim. That's, almost 50% right there. And this, again, we talked about it when we were talking about the race. These numbers of 4 filly and mares are not that top up here. I mean, I feel like normally numbers of 4 here is extremely difficult. This is, probably closer to a numbers of 3 bunch disguised as a numbers of 4 race. So when you get a horse like this, that's claimed for open 15, that's used to going fast, and gets in a better barn, they're going to race well. And she was well met the whole time. So, I mean, I thought she raced really good. But everything was hanging behind her. So,
yeah, she got a little lazy, got lost on the front there.
A little bit, yeah.
That's why the 8 had to
at the top of the stretch, she wasn't ever going by. That's just how I thought about it.
No, well, I mean, if the 1 didn't get lost on the front, the 8 doesn't have to pull that early and probably wins the race, but the one was very good tonight.
Yeah. Those ears are straight up there. I mean, it was good. That was between the 1 and the 4 actually betting the race, and of course I bet the 4. That was not an aggressive drive whatsoever. Still alive in the pick 4 though. We'll take that.
But we're going to move back to the Meadowlands. And race 2 is where we left off. We got the Billings Trot here, amateur drivers. These are tough to bet. I usually don't play these races, but I'm kind of playing horses here. For me, I'm kind of tossing between a few of them. My top pick is the 4, Land on Fitz. This is the definition of a Meadowlands horse. Was very good over the summer at the Meadowlands, and comes back. I think he likes this track a bit better. But, with the amateur drivers, it's tough to judge anything in the race. For second, I'll take the entry. It's tough to go against 2 horses for the price of 1. So I think both of them are decent in these types of races, and Pine Tab, he's been in and out of amateur races all season, so he's used to getting these drivers, and he's always pretty close in these amateur events, so use them, short price. Then the 2, Permanent Joy, she's another one that this is another horse that likes these amateur events and is always pretty close. I do like Bob Krivlin in these amateur events a little bit. He does pretty well, and he's actually batting almost 300 on the season. So this horse gets the rail. The move back to the big track took a mark of 57-1 here last year. I think it's probably going to take a little bit of play because Bob Krivlin's pretty prevalent, so that's where I'm at with this race. What do you see?
I don't have very clever ideas here.
It's
I just
tough.
think that they're better races to play. So I think the ones loom very large for Zurich, and they both draw inside. They both have been facing tougher, and they've been sort of out of the Billings races the past few weeks anyway. Both are big track horses, and I think both they're going to be sub even money. The 5 Fiji drops out in numbers of 11-5. He had no chance whatsoever in there. Prior to that race, Wallet Yonkers in the amateur races, and I think needs to be used. And then the 8, Ventura, start back. I thought that was a really nice race last time, second time, in a $12,000 Billings race, and nobody really closes at Pocono that much, especially, with the trotters. So I like that 29-2 final quarter. I like its third time. I like the switches to the big track. So 1, 5, and 8.
Moving on. Race 3 is the 3 Diamonds elimination for the 2-year-old fillies on the pace. Very good race, I thought. The 2 Kissing in Sand probably going to be favored here. I think there's several options you could try in this race and maybe be able to beat her. But for me, Kissing in Sand, she's too good right now, in my opinion. She crushed the kindergarten final a couple weeks ago. I don't see anything less from her tomorrow night. So that's kind of where I'm at with her in this field. Nice price play underneath, I think, would probably be the 1. Mean Lean. I think she's going to trip out here. Last week they raced her against the older mares, and she raced very well, I thought. And that was just kind of a go-around mile just to get a start in her before this elimination. And she raced very well against the old mares. And against these 2-year-old fillies, she's got a different type of race experience in her with that last start. So I think she's going to be well positioned. She'll be up toward the front, and should be a decent price, and can definitely hit the exacta. So I'm going to go 2-1 there. Where you at, Mike?
I do agree on the 2. I think she's hard to beat, but remember, it is an elimination. So, again, I don't, know what the intentions of the barn are necessarily. So that's always an interesting dynamic. I like the 4. Brett Blue Chip gets Brett Miller, and didn't disgrace herself in the crown. Just ran into better horses, but draws well here, and I feel like this horse has yet to show her best, and I like the driver switch here because I think that's significant. She just interests me from a price standpoint. She's going to be ignored with all these names in here, so she's probably going to be okay underneath. The 10 Rain on Me I've liked all along. I liked in the Breeders' Crown, even in the final where she really had no chance. I like the fact that Jingra's on this one. I expect probably a little bit more aggressive lead from the gate, especially from out there. And that race last time in the kindergarten final was not bad from the rail. Just ran into Kissing in the Sand, is a little bit better horse right now. But again, she's good. She's getting better. It's an elimination. So I would probably be 2-4-8. I could see the 1, off the prep last time. A bit of a wild card. Was good at Lexington. Last time was just the trip over the track. I expect him to try in here. She might be able to fit underneath. So.
Yeah, with the draw, I think the draw is the key with that filly.
Doesn't hurt her at all.
Yeah, she's going to get away close, and she's going to sit by and Kissing in the Sand throughout, and that's why I'm going to use her underneath.
Yeah.
But I do think Kissing in the Sand is probably tons the best there.
I agree. It's hard to beat her, but.
Moving on, race 4. You got non-winners of 11, 750 in the last 5 trot. These overnight races at the Meadowlands are tough. There's a lot of different scenarios that could play out here because, the first couple weeks you only have a few horses in each of these overnights that are racing at the Meadowlands for the first time in a few months. So to kind of gauge how it's going to go, you got to know what happens at these other racetracks, and that can make it tough. But where are you at, Mike, here?
Well, I think Buff is extremely obvious, but look what happened last week. I thought he was obvious last week, and it was 3.5 to 1, and he crushed. He never looked like a loser the whole way around. And I think he'll be close to that price again. There are a lot of horses in here that are going to attract attention. Horses like the 9, the 10, that may not be quite as good as this horse is right now. So I think he controls the race, and they have to catch him again, especially with some of these other horses outside. We talked about the 5, Massive Life, who was hammered last time and won simply, out of nowhere easily for a 21% trainer. Now steps up, and I'm interested. I mean, I think that the way this horse won last week, that makes him competitive in this race. So, you can't really ignore something like that. I don't know what the price is going to be. I don't know if the barn's going to bet again, because that's the only really. They had to be the one betting last time, as far as I'm concerned. So, I think that horse needs to be used. And then the 6, Winwood Scout, coming back from Pocono, had outside post, just pitched those races, has been up at this upper level there, and racing horses like, Up Front Billy. That horse is much better than a lot of these. This horse has won 7 times this year. Should be respected. So I would be 7, and then a little 5 and 6 underneath.
I'm going against you here a little bit. I'm using 10, PL Hercules. I think he's leaving off the gate. That was a good qualifier. Both qualifiers were decent. And that last qualifier, he got beat by a horse that I'm actually using in a stake race later in the night. He's won 6 times this year. Yeah, the post kind of stinks, but I think with Yannick, he's going to fire. And I agree with you on the 7. 7's going to get overlooked because I overlooked him a little bit, and I'll definitely use him underneath. But for me, I'm gonna take a bit of a price here on PL Hercules. Then I'll probably look at the 6. They rode him into this race. That's the only reason. This is an 11 non-winners of $11,750.
Right.
So he barely fits in here, I think. Knowing that for me, I use that angle every time I see it. Just trying to squeeze into a class where, the horse is competitive. And like I said, that's a big angle for me. Coming in from Pocono, he's been close. I think he's going to catch some live cover. He's going to get bet. So, but he should trip out, and he makes sense. And then the 9, Jake, don't like the draw, but he might leave off the gate just a bit to look for a seat somewhere in the mid-pack. I don't think he's going to use him too hard. He may just be out there to get a race in and duck to last.
He just doesn't like to win. I mean, he really doesn't. He should have won last time and didn't. This horse is always in the right spot and never seems to finish it off. So, yes, he can win. Yes, he's faced better. Lasix did not improve him a lick, and I do not like him.
Well, I don't mind the horse. I'm not saying to use him on top. I'm saying use him underneath. I don't like him to win the race. I think you use him underneath, and just because he's a stakes colt. He
is.
And he's going up against some overnight company. It is older horses in here, but I think he's legit, and he's a use underneath in your exotics. I wouldn't play him on top, just because I think this is just kind of a filler race for him, for whatever he's got coming up. But for exotics purposes, I would definitely use him there. Race 5, the Goldsmith Maid elimination, 2-year-old Trotting Fillies. I've said this in the past about 2-year-old Trotting Filly races. You can get beat very easily just by a filly that's green doing something you don't expect. It happens all the time, and you see it in these stake races all the time. So, with that being said, play with caution, 2-year-old Trotting Fillies. But for me, I think there's some favorites to look at because they've been solid. First off, the 7. I'm not even going to attempt that name. Seviorum, whatever it is, it doesn't make sense to me. It's not English. Been right there every single week. Too far back last time. Had no chance. And coming from dead last in that Breeders' Crown final, that was a big heat, I thought. 27-3 last quarter. And the elimination, same type of story, was too far back. Couldn't win that race, and that was against Fatosive. Right there every single week against the same type of horses. You get 7-2 morning line, you're probably going to get roughly 3-1, 5-2.
Gotcha. No way.
Yeah, they're going to bet the 8 horse here. They're going to fire on the 8.
I think the 7 is definitely sub 2-1. Definitely.
No.
Okay.
The
well,
8.
At Lexington, when he faced the 8, the horse was 3-5.
Okay, well, in the elimination of the Breeders' Crown in an 8-horse field against similar types, this horse was 8-1.
Okay,
Fatosive was 4-5 in there.
That was a different kind of race, I think. And this horse was being bet at Hoosier because the horse had raced well at Hoosier in the past that night. I mean, after that huge race from the 9-hole at Hoosier, then that's why this horse took that money. So I don't believe that they're going to let the 7 go off anything over 2-1.
That's just my opinion.
I think she's probably going to get off right around 5-2.
Okay.
But the 8 is going to get bet. 7 and 8 are both going to get bet. They're likely the two favorites here, but I think the 8's probably going to take a bit more money, just because it is Yannick and Jimmy Takter, and that's a big angle that people love to play at the Meadowlands, and rightfully so. But I'm sticking with Andy and Julie Miller here with the 7.
All right, we got to go quick because we got about a minute to Woodbine. I'm on the 4 Dab Hanover. I feel like this horse is improving for Takter. I liked that race last time in the kindergarten final where the horse was bet and bet into these horses. Draws better, and got to remember it's an elimination here. So, big chance for the 4. And, of course, the 7 and 8 are obvious. I mean, those are two that, the wild card actually in the race is the 10, Plunge Blue Trip, who is, 7 for 8 lifetime, only lost one race in a race that the horse was roughed up, went 1-9 at Yonkers, but then just crushed the matron at Dover on November the 9th. So, what happens with that horse? I feel like the reason I like the 4 in the race is because I feel like the 7, 8, and 10 are going to kind of go crazy a little bit, trying to get position and go early, and then it's going to set up for a horse like the 4.
Yeah, I could see it happening.
We got about a minute to Woodbine. The 1 currently 6-5. 8 second choice at 9-2. Who are you live with here? We're both live, yeah?
Yeah, I'm live too. 1, 4, and 8.
Okay, I believe that I have the 1, 2, 7, and 10. That's who I have. So.
I'm looking at pick 3 will pay. Pick 3s are actually paying very, very good.
There was only like 800 left out of 57,000 in the pick 4 pool. So,
wow.
Those two horses, albeit not favorites, knocked a lot of the pool out because they were wide open races. So people had to go deep to get through the races. And just because you get 5-1, they're not all created equal when it comes to some of these multi-race pools. The 2 in the first race was 7-2, but not 7-2 in the pick 4. And that last race, that horse wasn't 5-1 in the pick 4. So let's see what happens race 3. Let's try to get alive to the last game. They're getting ready here.
1, 4, 8 for me.
The 2 is rough game.
Number 2, she's lights out. Has reset, but gaps the gate as a result. They're off and pacing. Ruby's Prescott pushing it from the rail down the center. Much Ado coming on. Here's PL Kalua up into the mix. Under a hard hold is Bernadette. Now she drives on. Back there from the 5th, Party in Rome. A gap of 3 back in the 6th. Gia Diamond racing 7. She's lights out after that rough start. She's a real deal in at the rail to race up with them from an 8th. Then just if it mean is 9th. And Mia Lily Mark will trail from a 10th. Into the first turn, busy spot the front end. Quarters in 26 flat. Even money favored Ruby's Prescott lead the way. She's reluctant to release PL Kalua, though PL Kalua begs for backstretch mercy. Right there in the pocket spot is Much Ado from a 3rd now. Moving up on the cover from a 4th is Bernadette as she tracks the flow. Right up with the 5th is Party in Rome. 6th tip to the outside. Gia Diamond going to press on as she lights out from it 7th now. She's a real deal as 8th inside. Just a bit mean as 9th and Mia Lily Mark is 10th. They battled to the midway point, 54-3. McClure adamant on keeping the front as Ruby's Prescott drives on, regains a full-length advantage here as parked out PL Kalua feels and singled that tough trip. Pocket setting Much Ado from a 3rd, cover 4th out there for Bernadette. Trapped in Party in Rome from a 5th now. Lodges puts his charge in the center of the racetrack and PL Kalua was simply spent. So on that lead is still Ruby's Prescott. In the pocket spot is Much Ado. Ground center trip for Party in Rome. Gia Diamond fired from the backfield. 3/4, 124 and 2 into the stretch now. Ruby's Prescott leads the way. Here comes fresh length of Much Ado. Traveling up fast. Gia Diamond on the far outside is circling up for Jameson as well. Much Ado off the pocket system coming on. Much Ado trying to grapple the stretch she has. Can she hold off backfield pressure? Gia Diamond is still a real. Let's see if she's a real deal. Much Ado to win. It's Much Ado and Henry Swift.
I never envisioned that race to go that way.
No. Bob McClure was on a mission there.
Yeah, I don't know.
the 6 had no business leaving, and that's why he didn't want to let it go.
Do you remember what I said? Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? About guys doing that type of stuff. It catches up with them, especially when you have a young guy like Bob McClure who's trying to get his way in to Woodbine. They're going to start hanging you because they want that same type of respect that these other guys get.
I feel like I had the right ones there with the 7 and 10. They just had no chance from where they were. I mean, the 4 had absolute perfect. It just barely win. I don't know. I thought the 4 would make the front. I never thought the 1 would do what he did there.
Well, we're still live. I'm still live. Are you still live?
I'm not.
You're out.
I wasn't using that horse. Not off that.
So I'm still live, and this should be a pretty decent ticket, I would think.
It's gonna be okay. I mean, there's not,
But I'm only live to 2 horses here. This is my cheap leg, so.
All right, we got a long way to go here in the
We do.
So let's get back there.
So we're moving to race 6. This is the Dash for the G Notes final. The highest earners for this mini series type race they've been doing. Bunch of bad horses, in my opinion, that are just a bit more confident than other bad horses. It's tough to try to do too much here. This is probably a race I'll sit, but for me, my top pick is the 7 Stratocaster. Last week he quarter moved, made a big move and just beat him. That was plain and simple. There was nothing, no magic trick that he did. It was just a quarter move, and he beat some horses that don't pass anybody. He looked like he won pretty easily, so I see him doing the same type of thing in this race. And then the other one that I think could possibly show up here is the 2, Rock to Glory. Had no chance where he was last week. He gets an inside draw. He should be sitting a bit closer to the pace. But this horse has some ability, and I think you're going to get a decent price on him as well. So I would definitely use him in exotics at least. What do you see, Mike?
I think you're on the right one. So the 7, Stratocaster sticks out like a sore thumb off that 51 and 4 dominating win, especially since the 5 was life and death to win, his race against the 3. The 2 I do think is interesting because the horse came from flying late in a race where it really didn't have much of a chance and draws inside. So I could when the money's on the line for a lot of these ones, they're going to go a little bit early. I like the draw. I like the fact that this horse was racing well late. And then I'm going to use the 9 Big Stretch Mark, who raced pretty well, well enough to just be beaten by Stratocaster. Will be ignored from that outside post, and was bet a little last time. So that tells me that the barn did like this horse a little bit. I feel like could be ignored from out there, and wasn't too far behind the 7 last time. So I'll use again. So 2, 7, and 9.
Race 7, TVG Mares limb or point earning leg. This one, just like all season, wide open in the filly and mare races. Any of these things can win at any given day. To me, I like the barn change on Lady Shadow. My key with her is to watch her post parade. If you see her post parade and she has her head turned toward the left, that's a sign not to play her because she's still sore. If she's going straight in the post parade, just fire whatever you have in your account to win on her because she'll win. But if she does happen to have her head turned and a little head nod, play with caution. still use her, but play with caution. The other one, Pure Country, I thought she was just a front-end horse this year. I thought that's what she turned into, and then she come from off the pace to win the Breeders' Crown Final, so that kind of surprised me. I'll use her again because she is a big track horse, and off of that last race, it's tough not to use her at some point. And then Nike Franco, she loves the Meadowlands. She's been there all year. Tough to go against her as well. So, like I said, wide open race. What do you see, Mike?
I think those are the three. Nike Franco, though, for me on top. Really had no chance in that Crown Final. Got stuck in the wrong spot and just couldn't overcome that outside flow that was flying that night. But prior to that was excellent in the Allurage, excellent in the elimination against these same types. So she's obviously good enough to beat these. The outside two are very obvious also. I don't know about Lady Shadow. Obviously switched hands. She last year was a monster. This year is solid enough, 317, but most of that was done early in the year. Recently, she's lost her last 5 races that I can see. And she's getting where she wants to be. She's getting to the front. She's just not quite good enough. And if you watch her, she's obviously not the same. So I would probably be more 3-6 and then 7. Who do you have in this, by the way? Who are you alive to? They're good. I don't know if you look. They're good.
I haven't looked yet.
Who do you have?
5 and 8.
Okay, 1,500 on the 5 for 20 cents. The 8's 421. Currently, the 5, 6 to 1. The 8 is 5 to 1. The 1 is the favorite.
Yeah, I kind of thought 1 would be favored here.
So,
one is not a bad play. I think for what they're paying, I'm probably gonna throw a few bucks to win on the 1 just to save a little bit.
Well, 2 to 1. I mean,
yeah, you're not getting much back, but it'll.
I think the 2's awfully scary at 11 to 1.
I want this 5 to win because this is actually my spot play for the night on NahooPicks.com.
I'd want it too if I was trying to win 1,500, and that's actually a huge number.
It is.
That's the same in line with the 10 is 20 to 1, 1,500. Anyway,
moving on at the Meadowlands for Saturday. Race 8. This is the 2-year-old Colt Trot Valley Victory elimination. The key here, it's the first leg of the late pick 4, 50,000 guaranteed. The key is the front 9 make the final. And Same Old Different Day was given the bye. So you kind of got to take that into consideration. You only have to beat 1, so if 1 breaks early, you're going to see a lot of horses grabbing and sitting. But for me, I thought this race was one-dimensional with fourth dimension. I think he's better than these horses. Threw in a clunker.
I like the 9 a little bit. No 9?
I'm not using the 9.
Okay.
But I like the 9 underneath. I don't like the draw.
When you said you liked PL Hercules, you said you were going to use the horse that beat in a stake race.
I said I'm
saying.
using. But in the pick 4, I'm not going to use this horse. Just because he's got the 9-hole. But I'm going to use this horse in exotics.
I see. Not good enough to win, but good enough to be under.
Yes. I'm singling the 1 in the pick 4. Last start, it was kind of a clunker race for him. He's rested up for this. I think they probably trained him pretty good, and I think he'll be ready to roll. And going back to the Meadowlands, he's good enough. the fact that he's got the rail adds to it. He's 6 for 9 on the year, and I think he's, other than that one clunker race right there in the Breeders' Crown Final, he's better than these. I'm not going to use Metz Hall just because I think in these types of races he finishes second. He doesn't beat the top one, and I think the top one is
this
the one.
This is an elimination, though.
Yeah, we'll see. Where are you at here? Start to pick 4.
I don't think the one. I do agree the one is good, but I don't necessarily trust him, especially after getting dusted. When they were 600,000 on the line. So, that's a bit bothersome. Especially when you're 1-2. You're supposed to probably win there, or at least maybe just get beat. So I'll use, but I'm going to use Metz Hall because I think that he's talented enough. He's 5 for 10 this year, and this horse has raced well at the Meadowlands in the past. You have to use this horse. There's no way you can't use it. The 6,
I'm not.
Tito, well, good luck to you. Raced well in the kindergarten final. Came flying past them, 27-4. Looked the part. Very visually impressive in these last 2 races. So, I think this horse is getting better. And towards the end of the year, the 1 could be going the wrong way a little bit. The 6 could be coming on a little bit. And that's really all you need. And then I am going to use a 9, Passion Woodchopper, who, comes out of a qualifier against a legitimate animal. Prior to that, was racing extremely well at Lexington in the Meadowlands. Was a bit unlucky in the Crown elimination. Didn't make the final. So, but this horse is 5 for 9 this year. Has made some money. And again, it's an elimination. 1, 5, 6, 9.
Race number 9 is a filly mare, non-winners of 11-5 on the pace. This one I thought way more wide open. I think you agree with me. This is a pretty wide open race, and you can take speed, you can take closers. It depends on how you look at this program and think how the race will set up. So where are you at here?
I have the outside 4 and the pick 4, and I think that's where probably the winner comes from. Abbott Jade Hanover will be the favorite. Chased Inverse Hanover, who was 2-5 last time, and really kind of looked like that he was going by at the top of the stretch, and then hung just a bit. But this horse likes the Meadowlands, and has a mark of 49-4 here. I like that race last week against these. I think that race wins this race. So, but I'm going to use the other ones. The 7, Rock Me Gently, has been racing well at Philly at upper levels from decent trips. So, but I feel like this horse is getting better as the year goes on. I like Marcus, and I think she could get a trip. The 9, Mosquito Blue Chip, has been racing well at Yonkers from off the pace. Gets the big track here. And this horse is very capable. Has made over 700,000. Hard to leave off. And then the 10, Whiskers on Kittens, who really likes the Meadowlands. Has raced well earlier this year. And, this is Rick Dane. A lot of his horses do well, especially coming back to here. It's that terrible post at Pocono. Really, you can toss those races out against decent ones. I like the big track for her. And this is actually a drop for what she's been facing. 7, 8, 9, 10.
We are somewhat on the same page, but I just think the race is wide open. I don't have any strong opinion here. Maybe the 2 who gets a driver change. Gonna be a good price play. I think if they go fast up front, this thing is gonna be coming late. 5, Colorful Jasmine. She's classy. I like her. She's just one of those horses that likes to race. She should be up close, but she's going to have to work to get to the front, I think. And then kind of I don't want to say my third choice, but for website purposes, Mosquito Blue Chip, the 9, coming from Yonkers. those are some good mares she's been racing against, and I don't mind the post because there's several horses in here. You know, we've alluded to this. There's a lot of horses that can win this race, and if you go all here, I don't think it's a bad plan because anything can happen here. But for my pick 4, I'm going 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10.
See, when you do something like that, you should be taking them all.
There was a couple I didn't like, but
that's fine. But
for all, I like I said, I wouldn't be opposed to anybody going all there.
Yeah, you know how I think about that. This just very quickly. If you like 7 out of 10, you like nothing. So, to let 1 or 2 or 3 beat you, and those are probably the 3 biggest prices. That is very, very, very poor playing. Not very wise. Anyway.
Third leg is.
Well, let's Woodbine's getting ready to go, so let's wait
okay.
for that.
Yep.
Since you're alive here to a nice ticket, let's see if we can root you in. The 5 currently at 9 to 1, and that's Columnist dropping. And this horse is capable. Has been facing better. The problem is she really doesn't like to win very much.
Yeah, I agree.
But you're gonna get paid. You get $1,500 if they win.
The 2's taking some money as well.
The 8, I feel at 7 to 2 is very obvious in the race. And you'll get 400 there. I'm not smart enough to be alive in this ticket. I was 1, 2, 8, 10, I believe. So that's where I was in this race.
5 and 8. That's who we need here.
Yeah, preferably at 5.
Yeah. The 5 would be a good one.
Yeah. It still wouldn't be the record for biggest ticket given out on this show because I have that.
What is the record?
I think it was like 1,800 or something at the Meadowlands earlier this year.
Oh, I was close on my first week.
You were close, but you're not close enough.
What was that ticket? It was like 1,300, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. something around 1,300 at the Meadowlands. I do very well at the Meadowlands, and Mike does pretty well too. I think last week you hit 58% of your top 3, and I hit 61%. So we're doing pretty dang well over there throughout the entire year, not just this winter meet, throughout the whole year. We do pretty well
there. The thing is like if you read our picks, it's not going to be perfect every time. I mean, we give you, there's different scenarios that could play, and we talk about that a little bit with those picks. It's not like we're necessarily picking everything 1, 2, 3 or what we like best, but we're just creating different ideas and scenarios, and see what you think of what we think, and then add to what you're doing. But a lot of times we're pretty close. Pretty close. So they're getting ready to go. About 23 seconds to go.
You're 2 seconds in front of me.
Is this you punch your ticket up from Yahoo Picks? No.
Yes.
Okay.
My pick 4 was posted all day on Yahoo Picks.
All right, let's get this 5. Get this 5 home for Rod. Go 1,500. Little seed money for tomorrow.
Here we go.
That race field takes that speed. They're off and pacing, chased over there, down the center, dangerous precedent. Here comes Art Angel Baby and the Empire Sister blasting 2 from the inside. Whiskey's Paradise up close early from it 4. Gap of 2 to Large on Lachlan, 5th away. 6th outside, K Shadow pressing on. Then it's SR Beach Babe, Kiss Me or Not, followed by Columnist, and Put Me Into Go Trails. Into the opening turn, Wah up to grab the lead with the Empire Sister in 25-4 as she put on her first turn. Smoke Show grabbed the top spot. Into the pocket is Art Angel Baby, then it's back third to Dangerous Precedent. Gap of 2 to Westie's Paradise from in 4th. Large on Lachlan back there 5th. K Shadow 6th. 7th across the backstretch. SR Beach Babe. Final three in the field, Kiss Me or Not, and Columnist and Put Me Into Go. Straight as an arrow goes the field across the backstretch. Their single file coming up to the midway point, where Tempo Setter, the Empire Sister, puts them there at 55-2. She went 29-3 in that second quarter and takes them up to the far turn here. On that lead, the Empire Sister, pocket sitting stills from in second. That is Art Angel Baby. Here outside to third now comes Whiskey's Paradise, grabbing cover, Dangerous Precedent from in fourth. SR Beach Babe tracks cover well. She's fifth outside, only 3 off the lead. Shuffle at the rail for Large John Laughlin. Colin that starts to roll from the backfield. Up to 3/4 in 124-4. Turning for home. Whiskey's Paradise outside. Inside the Empire Sister. Here's Dangerous Precedent. Fed racetrack now. Art Angel Baby wants out in behind them. SR Beach Babe into fifth. Large John Laughlin sixth. Wild Charge to the finish. Who's got the goods? Whiskey's Paradise down the center, trying to hang tough with the rail. The Empire Sister closing from way back is Kiss Me or Not. It's Whiskey's Paradise trying to hold on. Whiskey's Paradise by a set of blinkers fends off that long shot Kiss Me or Not in 153-4.
So it was the one there, the favorite, who I thought raced very well last week, and she drew perfect, got a perfect setup, and ended up winning. So the 5 was just okay. When it was time to go, it didn't have it. And the 8 was blocked almost the entire stretch. Really, I probably would play the 8 back a little bit. But that's the problem with her. She never seems to want to win.
Well, part of the problem was they went 25-4, and that's my problem with Woodbine is they go very fast early because they got a longer stretch to start the race. It's 3/16 to start the race, just pure stretch, and it's not playing early speed up there. It's playing whoever moves later at the
Right.
around the 3/8 or the half. That's who wins the races there.
All right, so we got about 10 minutes left. We need to finish here. We got 4 races left for tomorrow night, Meadowlands. Halfway through the pick 4. Moving on to race 10, which is Governor's Cup elimination, 2-year-old colts. Let's see, winner draws 1 through 6 for the final, and first 9 make the final. So basically, 1 gets out.
I'm going 3 deep into pick 4 here. 4, 9, and 10 are my numbers. Nutcracker Sweet, I think he's a Meadowlands horse. He likes a mile track. That just seems like his forte. I think he's going to show up tomorrow night, and he's going to be a pretty good price. So I'm going to use him. American History made his Meadowlands debut last week, and when he pulled this horse, he just kind of sat out there and waited. And then about the 8th pole, this horse hit an 8th gear and absolutely took off from everybody. And it was impressive, that final 8th. I actually went back and clocked it. It was 13 seconds flat. So this horse is plenty capable. He's got some talent. And then the 10 Lost in Time I use every week. No way I'm not using tomorrow night. He's going to be a short price too. But 4, 9, 10 for me.
8, 9, 10 for me. I'm surprised you didn't use any 8. Closing Statement, who has been racing well pretty much all year, was excellent in the Crown elimination. Probably should have won in that race, but got kind of picked off by Carpathian Kid that night. Then was third to Stay Hungry in the final. No disgrace whatsoever, especially from off the pace that night. And Stay Hungry got a perfect trip. And then caught the 7th hole at Dover. Really no chance at all there. Still finished second. I agree with you on the 9. There's lots of talent here, although this is first time against the real horses, and you don't really know how necessarily that he's going to respond. And he got an outside post, and again, the big money's on the line next week. Same thing with Lost in Time. Won the Metro, has been excellent. Really, the way he was driven in the Crown final
was a little suspect. He was 3-5 in there. Most likely would be 3-5 in here. 8, 9, and 10.
Fourth leg
Fourth.
is the consolation of the dash for the G notes. This is a bad field. They just don't beat anybody really. Just some slobs that they threw together for consolation. So, to me, I'm pretty chalky here, I think. I go 2, 3, 4, 9. The 2 is Yannick. Horse was okay last week. Nothing, was up against Stratocaster, who's probably going to win the final. Nothing special there, but has won 7 times this year. The 3, David's Dream, did not fire last week, but I think that's what that horse had. That's what he is. He's a 53 at the Meadowlands type horse. The 4, this horse kind of got trapped in a little bit, shuffled, and had a chance to win the race and just didn't. If he can improve that last eighth of a mile, I think he's got a shot to win this race at a good price. And then the 9, Sword of the Spirit, gonna be way back early. He's gonna need some speed from somewhere to get into it. If that happens, I think he's got a shot, but used tentatively.
I was 279 here. Agree with the 2. I feel like that a better race is looming here for this one. Kind of got hung out to dry against better ones. I do not like the 3. This horse was 2-5 and had absolutely nothing the whole way around. He pulled him and did not take one step forward. So no, thank you. If he beats me, he beats me. The 7, Major Legacy, had an outside post last time. I thought was misdriven a bit. Prior to that, came home 27-1 to be, 5th. This horse is a long shot, obviously, but I just like his last 2 races. And in a race where anything can really, pop up and win, any sort of trip at all, he could be dangerous. And then I'm going to use the 9 also, Sort of Spirit, who really had a difficult spot from where he was. Still flew home 27-4. So I think one of these is going to get it done. You could really probably use them all and not even feel comfortable. It's that wide open, that crazy. I think the 2 is the most likely winner. After that, it's anything. So I don't know if you want to cap the pick 4 tickets that are listed on Yahoo Picks.
Yes, our pick 4 tickets, our late pick 4 tickets, are listed on NahooPicks.com. We will have a graphic for those as well. On Twitter, on Facebook. But to recap, my ticket is 1 with 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 with 4, 9, 10 with 2, 3, 4, 9. It's $42.50.
I went 1, 5, 6, 9 with 7, 8, 9, 10 with 8, 9, 10 with 2, 7, 9 and 72 for 50 cents.
All right, moving on. We got 2 races left. We got 5 minutes. The 12th race is a non-winners of 8,500 draw inside, non-winners of 11,750 draw outside. They split them 5 and 5. This race is, it just kind of seems like the outside horses to me. There might be one inside horse you can use, but I think Texas Terror is really the horse to beat here. He's got a good draw. I think he's going to work out a good trip, and he's going to be a short price, but I think he's a definite use. Nothing special in this race to me. The 7 comes out of the same race. He should be following him. I don't think he's going to beat him, though. So those are the 2 that I really like.
Yeah, I'm the same with you. I think 6 and 7 are extremely obvious and the most likely winners. Both of them, are are Meadowlands type horses that have excelled well here. I thought the 6 raced extremely well last time to just get beat. Flew home in 27 in a very fast mile. And, Art History really likes the Meadowlands. He comes out of that same race and sort of got run over late. One of those two probably wins it. I think that the 4 has a chance underneath just because of the way he's been racing. And, he draws inside here. I feel like that, he's a one move type that, if he's timed right, maybe not necessarily to win, but get it. So I'd be 6, 7, and then 4.
Yeah, I don't mind using 1, 2, or 4 underneath. I think they all have a decent shot, but I don't think they can win. Last race of the night at the Meadowlands tomorrow is a non-winners of 5,000 last 5, optional 15 claimer. This is the Super High 5 race, usually a bit more wide open. For me, I'm going to take Dancing Hill, the 8. This is my top choice. I needed him last week. He wasn't close enough to get there. I got a feeling that Yannick's going to have him up closer tomorrow, so I'm going to use him on top. But I'm going to use him in conjunction with the 9 Western Joe. I thought he should have won last week. Just missed. He snuck up the inside, and he got locked in. Definitely use again. He's a Meadowlands horse, and I think he's in a spot. He's not going to leave, but he's got to look for something mid-pack early. Those are the 2 I like here. I don't think anything else can win.
I agree with those 2, but I do think that both those 2 horses drawn outside and both being closers, they're going to have to make early moves. And, so what's wrong with the 6 in the race?
That's my third choice.
Yeah, he comes out of 2 preferred handicaps at Freehold. Got, a little bit trips over that track, but this horse has 8 wins this year. Has made 110,000. Gets Marcus, 3rd time back, gets a big track. He's interesting to me, especially if he leaves. And then, the 2 is probably going to get fat with that early speed. Loses Jingra, but, has been facing decent ones also. Wouldn't surprise me. I feel like it's 8, 9, and then the 2, watch the board, 2 on 6, because that's going to tell a lot, I think. If you